Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Vankers?
Greetings, Vankas. This is a special Vanka Hours episode brought to you by BetMGM, where we're going to be asking the one Guenther Steiner who his top 10 F1 driver list is. You know, Guenther, we talked to you about what's like at Haas and all the kind of chaos and what it's like behind the scenes, but we want to know what you think of when you look at the greats of Formula One. Who stands out to you, what your top 10 is?
Making that list was actually pretty difficult because I'm not looking only at the result if the guy was good or bad, you know, how many championships he won and things like this, but also why I'm interested in this driver, you know, and you go back when I was a kid, you know, when I watched Formula One, I had some memories, and when you read a little bit the history of it, it's a combination of things, and it's not only based by results, you know, because then it would be pretty easy to do, you know, who won most championships, that's the best driver, but it's a lot of factors, but very, I would say, very emotional, you know, when you think, oh, this guy for me is in the top 10 because, and I explain it then why I think he's in the top 10 for me, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you sent us a little list. You've made little notes. We're going to be asking you what went into each of these decisions, how much of it is stat-based, and how much of it is emotion-based, baby. Because,
very little stat-based, mainly emotional-based.
All emotions. This is going to be a deeply emotional episode of Vanka Hours with Guenther Steiner. Before we get to your top 10 list, before we get into that, Guenther, this is coming out right before the Austin race. What do the people need to do?
Go to the show on Sunday night, the Wanker Show, you know, to meet all the Wankers, you know, that we can, the United Wanker Show, you know.
That's right. That's right.
And they need to subscribe as well. That they need,
course.
Not only for Austin, they need to do that all the time. Yeah.
Of course. Smash the subscribe button. That's free. But come to see the Vanka Hours live October 19th. After the 9 p.m., after the race in Coda, we're going to be doing a live show, live recap. Paramount Theater, it's a glorious theater. Come see us live. Don't sleep on it. Tickets are going fast. Get them now. Link in the description. Link is in the description. All right, Guenther, who is your number 10 Formula One driver of all time?
Graham Hill.
Graham Hill. What you wrote here is Graham Hill, fast and cool as shit.
I think he was cool as shit, huh? I look at the guy.
He had the look. The look was
he had everything,
crazy.
You know. Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
You know, he had everything, and he was fast. He won a championship. You know,
two.
Okay, two championships. Yeah, so it's like
nice big schnoz. You appreciate a big schnoz, Guenther?
Look at that.
Yeah.
I have to, you know. Otherwise, I need to cut my one off. Yeah. No,
and you got a little mustache. Did you bash your mustache?
Pencil one. I need to shave it off next time so I look like Graham and grow the hair in the back, huh? You know?
Yeah.
Honestly, Guenther, you do kind of look a little bit like Graham Hill. Like,
no.
I'm
not as cool as Graham Hill. No.
Well, I'm not saying you're as cool as him, but you kind of aesthetically, there's, you know, it's not, if you had the pencil mustache and you slick that hair back, I could see it.
Stop it there.
Put up, Brian. Put up a picture. Put a picture in the video. Put a picture there. I'm curious, Guenther. You know, how much because Graham Hill famously is the only driver to ever win the notorious Triple Crown. He won Le Mans, he won in Monaco, and he won the Indy 500. Did that factor into Graham Hill being on this list? The mystique of that.
It factors all in but it was different times. You must say that one. But it's for me. It was just like it was Formula One when it became, you know, cool in my opinion. When it was really cool, you know, they were living the lifestyle. They were racing. They were taking risks, you know. And obviously, he took a little bit too much risk. I think. I mean, obviously, he didn't on his aeroplane. He was flying his own aeroplane. The whole persona was, I think, very cool. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know Damon, his son. Pretty good, you know. And Damon is a very nice guy, and you know he told me some stories about his father, and you know that there is also some connection there.
Any stories that come to mind? What have you heard from Damon about his dad?
I think he gives me the nice stories, when they meet, when all the important people come in. I don't think he's that told Damon the stories. Stories, yeah. He was a little kid, at the time, Damon.
Sure. All right, so that's your number 10. Guenther, who's your number 9?
Mario Andretti. I mean, being world champion, he won everything, and I know Mario. And I went once to Mario's house, and when you see the trophy room, you get goosebumps. I mean, the guy, there is nobody around like him. He won in so many different categories of racing. And we have to think about it, how different the cars were, what he did, He jumped from one to the other. And he survived all of it, which is not normal, racing at that level in that time. And he won Formula One, and he also is a person, a very nice person, a very nice, down-to-earth person. And it's just like, I remember the trophy room, it was like, wow, there's nobody in the world around who just got this one.
And I don't think people appreciate how much more competitive IndyCar was back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
When he was winning it. It was
NASCAR, he won the Daytona, he won everything, He won in sprint cars, how difficult it is them to drive, And he came from nothing. I mean, think about the guy, an immigrant, and made all this happen, It's just, the story is just so great. And I remember when he was in Formula One, the Lotus, the John Player Special Lotus, I mean, that's an icon of Formula One, the black and gold car. So
in the ground effect era.
Yeah.
OG ground effect era. Do you feel a connection to him as two Italian Americans?
Yeah,
you're both
immigrants, yeah.
That's right. You guys are both
yeah.
Italian-American immigrants. Do you feel like any Italian connection to Mario?
Yeah, no. I always speak Italian with Mario when I see him. We don't speak English, we speak Italian, So, and I respect that a lot because he came to the States. I mean, he was a lot younger when he came than when I came. I was a lot older than him. But I can just imagine how difficult it was for him to establish himself here, or his family, everything, how to build it up, and you need to be tough to do this and to go racing, you're out there taking risks and all that stuff, so it's pretty cool. And then making it into Formula One and winning the championship. It's like...
And I think people underestimate how good he was at setting up a car, at helping develop a car, because when he got to Lotus, it was Ronnie Peterson's team, and they were not there. And he took over that team, and Ronnie Peterson was a great driver.
Oh yeah, he was very good. Yeah. But Mario had this drive because he started with nothing. That's my opinion about it. He always had to do this to have success. So wherever he went, for him it was like he was full in.
Yeah,
love it. Mario Andretti, number 9. Who's in the 8th spot?
Alain Prost.
Okay, so this is like actually your first kind of your most controversial one so far. How actually shittily he's placed. This is actually kind of a slight. Why? Okay, I don't think we should argue about why he's here. We should argue why he isn't higher.
Right.
Why he's not higher?
Why he's got 4 championships.
I told you, for me, it's not only about championship. Because
okay, so why do you hate him? Why do you hate him?
I don't. I mean, being 7th.
Why do you hate?
No, 8 on the list.
Why is he
8 on the list? 8 on the list. I mean, why? I mean, Jesus, there is thousands of drivers, and he's 7th. That's not hating him.
He's got 4 WGCs.
Yeah, but
he squared off against Senna, and they had kind of a split decision, essentially.
Whoa,
right?
Whoa! I didn't know that you were such a big Prost fan.
You know what I think? I think that Senna is sort of. I think what has happened in history is that Senna died tragically, and he's been kind of lionized and glorified, and he had this very flashy way of. He was more likable than Prost, and Senna's driving legacy has been. I'm not saying it's been inflated, but I definitely think Prost's driving legacy has been deflated just because he wasn't as exciting.
He was overshadowed by Senna. I would agree with that one, but I rate him highly. I mean, to finish 8 on the list, to finish in front of Mario Andretti. I mean, Mario Andretti is a legend, So I wouldn't see that one as he's on my shit list. I mean, and yeah.
But I guess it's interesting because I think we were talked about right when we started this, that the emotional aspect of
right.
Someone's top 10 list is personal to them. What this says, because I'll give a little spoiler, Senna's on this list and he's a little bit higher, is that maybe the Senna ethos speaks to you more than the kind of cool, calculated Prost professor ethos. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, for me, racing is about excitement, and Senna, Prost is the professor. Everything was calculated, Everything is a calculation. Everything is everything needed to be thought over and over again, And Senna, I think Senna was the same, but he didn't portray it like this, He portrayed it something different. And what you said about Senna, by his passing, obviously you were idolized a lot more than somebody who's still alive. I mean, and but I respect Prost a lot for what he did, because he was fighting with one of the best out there, and he won, So I think I respect the guy. It's not maybe emotional. It's not the type I'm looking for, but I give him. 8 is pretty good.
Guenther, do you have some kind of Italian bias against French people?
No.
You think?
No.
Who do Italians historically hate on a national level, though? In Europe, French. Okay. Okay. So
but I don't.
Be in there.
I don't.
Okay. Subconsciously,
Okay,
it might be subconscious.
No.
Okay.
I love them all.
That French bastard.
All right. This next one, guys. Everybody, just kind of hold on to your tits, because this is gonna really. Everybody, just chill the fuck out. All right. Who do you got for number 7?
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh my God.
What's wrong with that?
Number 7. Okay, so this is.
No.
Okay, you gotta tell me why. You got to tell me why he's so low on this list.
It's not so, because the other ones, for me, is like, we have got, how many years of history in F1?
75. F1
Correct.
75.
Exactly.
Yeah.
75 years. And, just because he's still driving, it doesn't put him on top of this. He won a lot of championships, and I respect him a lot, Lewis, what he does, But for me, it's more like looking into the era. And that's why I always say, somebody says, you put me on the spot here, who you think is the best driver? I don't know, because it's different eras, but I think I respect what he did, He started very simple in racing and made it to be this global, not only race car driver, rock star. He became a star in itself, without racing, So, but as a racing driver, I think I respect him because he was always fast, and what he did in his heyday, I call it, he made less mistakes than the other guys. He was very, very predictable that he will not make a mistake during the race. He will bring everything home and just execute it always very well.
Interesting. I think maybe, is there a little bit of like the ethos of Lewis was always, he wasn't as kind of, I don't know, win or bin as some of these other guys, even looking at the rest of this list, a la the Senna Prost kind of thing. Lewis has a little bit of a professorship kind of vibe to him as well, would you say?
Yeah, I would say he. I know where you are going. That I like the pure racer. You
like the crazies a little.
Yeah,
bit.
the animal. Yeah, the animal.
You like the crazy guys. Yeah. Okay. What if Lewis gets the 8th, Guenther? What if Lewis gets the 8th? Does this list change at all?
If Lewis gets no, it doesn't change. The championship, I had to think. No.
Okay.
Because I had to think long. Because my opinion, I don't think he will win an 8 championship.
Right.
So,
sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Lewis Hamilton, 7th spot.
Number 7th.
Who's your 6?
Max.
All right.
You're gonna get us deplatformed, Guenther.
Yeah.
All right, Max Verstappen. What you've written here is fast, loves racing, and won a lot already for his age, and will win a lot more.
Yes.
We've heard you talk. You've said multiple times on this podcast that this is the Max Verstappen era. It's his world, and we're just living in it. Why Max in 6th? And does Max have an opportunity to make his way up this list, or do you think he's there even if he wins a couple more WDCs?
I think Max is one which can make his way up this list if he wins a few more, and if he keeps on doing what he's doing. For me, example, like when he went to race in GT cars, doing these things for me, I quite like them, because I think that if you're a race car driver, that is what you want to do. And for me, a driver, if he does a lot of other racing, I think that makes him, for me, more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, Max Verstappen in the 6th slot, but maybe with a chance to move up that list. Who's in your 5 slot? Now we're in the top 5.
Now we're with the big boys. Michael Schumacher.
I think this is also going to shock some people.
This is also shocking. A lot of people would have Michael Schumacher as numero uno. A lot of people would put him right straight to the top, but you have him as 5. Why does he not quite sit on the top of the pyramid?
Why? Because there's other people I like better. That is not that I don't like Michael. I mean, I respect what Michael did for Formula One was again something amazing. I mean, he came into Formula One from Mercedes sports cars, and went to Benetton, won everything. But his biggest thing is going to Ferrari and do what he did there. He made history there. It's like that's the thing.
The five championships. I mean, we see Leclerc and what Lewis Hamilton's trying to do over there. Like, we see how hard that is to turn that to unsink the Titanic, basically, to float that fucking thing up to the surface. Because when Michael got there, that thing was underwater,
a mess. Yeah.
And it took. People think he got there and it was a mess when he got there. Like, it took him 3 or 4 years of just mediocrity, just close. He broke his leg, just lots of hard work. It's not like he got there and it was immediate. It was tough going to get. But
again, his persistence to work there and not taking the easy way out and say, I go to a team which is winning, because at the time the world was at his feet. He wanted to make it happen at Ferrari. And I know people which work with Michael, and they all tell me when he came there, he changed the work ethics. It became a different Ferrari. It became different. I mean, I speak with these people, and at Ferrari, the people which were there when he was there, they all love him. There is this love for Michael because they know what they owe him. He brought them back to success when they were obviously, not seen good, they were mediocre in racing and all that stuff, And then Michael came, and with hard work, and he was the first one in the morning at the racetrack, to motivate the other one. He didn't say to the other people, you need to be there at 7, I then show up at 9. No. He was there before them to show them what they need to do, and I think that made him this legend in racing.
And back then they had unlimited testing. So
absolutely, he was working. He was always on it. He invested a lot of time in it. He was focusing on it, and he won. And that was the most important thing. And he won very dominating. He also was the guy which basically took Ferrari. Ferrari was working for Michael. And he did it all himself.
You've talked previously kind of about how that mentality, that kind of like get up and be in the kind of shit with the team, has kind of become less and less common as the sport's gotten more popular and as the cars have maybe gotten more complicated. How high does that kind of sit for you, that mentality, like, I'm going to be there with you, I'm the first to arrive, last to leave kind of thing?
It's doing a lot for me, that one, but it has changed also since Michael. Now the drivers, they've got, as you said, because the sport became more popular, they've got a lot of more things to do outside of going racing. So sometimes they are still working when they are not at the track anymore, because they need to do public relations stuff, or go with sponsors, marketing stuff. So they are still working hard, because that has changed. At the time when Michael was there, that was not so dominant like it is now. So you cannot really compare like with like here. But I think some of the drivers, and I think Max is one of them, he drives a simulator. Maybe he's not driving the simulator in Milton Keynes, but he has got one at home. because he wants to be ready for the race. He wants to get himself ready, and I respect that a lot in drivers. Lead by example.
And he was the first one to get fit, to take fitness very seriously.
Yeah.
It used to be just like, water skiing and sex. That was their only sort of
medication.
Exercise.
Yeah, exactly. Exercise.
Right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of a guy who led by example, give us your number 4.
Jackie Stewart.
Now, this is an interesting one. I think that a lot of people love Jackie. I think that,
but they don't know his history.
They might have him on the top 10, but they would not have him in the 4 slot. This is a big kind of vote for you to put him.
This is huge for Jackie.
This is big for Jackie. It's big for Jackie.
No, I was fortunate enough to work with Jackie at Jaguar, and I didn't know Jackie well before, and I have a lot of respect from the guy. And one thing, Lauda always told me, Jackie was damn fast. And for Lauda to say that meant to me he was fast, because Lauda wouldn't say that without reason. So Jackie was very fast. I think he won most races with the least starts in Grand Prix. He didn't start this many Grand Prix, but he won a lot of it. He won 3 championships. Again, he came from very simple beginnings, up from Scotland. And what he did, he saved a lot of lives through his because he worked very hard for the safety of the cars. He was the first one to make it public. We need to do something to make this car safer. Too many of us die, I'm not saying get hurt. Too many of us die. This is getting too risky. And he started that people actually before that one, nobody really cared about it. I mean, everybody knew about how dangerous it was, but nobody did anything about it. He was the first guy to bring it up to people to speak openly about it. That you don't need to be afraid to talk about safety because then people think you're weak because you're afraid. No. It's something we need to think about it, And he was basically leading that one. And then, obviously, as I said, I respect him because he was very fast. He won championships. And to this days, he's in his 80s. He's still coming to the races. He doesn't need to come there, but he loves it. He loves it. And his initiatives for dementia, his wife is suffering from it. And he's putting a lot of effort in. And Jackie doesn't have to do anything anymore. He's all right. He's very well set, and that's why I respect the guy. But every time I see him, I think of this era. How many lives has this guy saved? Think about it. And that's why he deserves to be there in the top 5.
3 championships ain't bad either.
Yeah, exactly. He was not a slow driver,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
He didn't have to do all this. He wanted to do it.
And the mutton chops. You can't sleep on the mutton chops.
And the tartan,
And the tart. Yeah, I mean, you can't. The guy was dripped out.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy was dripped out. All right, now we're in your podium, Guenther. Your top 3. I'm curious if as we get to this top 3, if there were some guys on the list that were maybe on the bubble, some guys that you were kind of like, maybe this guy were there people that didn't make this list that you were kind of waffling back and forth between?
Yeah, there is always some you're waffling, and you cannot put everybody in there. But as I say, I just think I looked at it and said, this is the people, for me, they're in the top 10. I mean, like a guy like Jochen Rindt as well. He was cool as shit, huh? It's like he should be in there. But yeah, it was very cool. But it's like, you cannot give it to all. But it's no disrespect. But there is, if you go through all of them, there is. But at some stage, you have to make a decision. Huh? You cannot be on the fence.
All right. Well, you made the decision. So who's in the 3rd place? Who's on the first one on the podium?
The guy I got critique before for Ayrton Senna. He's number 3 for me. And I think we discussed it. I mean, Senna, I never worked with him. I never spoke with the guy, and I didn't know him. People which worked with him, again, told me very good stories about the guy, And I think he took Formula One in the data era from, the Playboy era to the professional era of looking at data, prepare yourself, and all that stuff. He was the early Michael Schumacher, in my opinion. Working hard. He was the first step of that generation. Just working hard, and always I was told he was always the last one at the racetrack because obviously at the time they maybe had 3 or 4 data channels, but he looked at them and tried to learn out of it, and again, he won championships, and he died in a racing car. That obviously gives you legend status. So, and I think he was pretty cool as well.
I think all of that checks out to me. All right, this next guy we know sits close to your heart. Who's number 2?
It's Niki Lauda. I mean, I worked with him. We were friends, and he won 3 world championships. And I had the fortune to spend a lot of time with him. And that for me, he sits very high up there. And he brought me into Formula One. So
he should be number 1 for that alone.
He should be number 1 for that alone. I mean,
but that's his greatest
that
achievement.
Would be a little bit. I was thinking about that. That would be self-serving almost. I give you number 1 because you helped me. So
so you had to keep it fair. So you have him number 2.
Exactly.
So I think beyond Niki's, you talked about Jackie's contributions on track, but also his contributions off track and his safety initiatives. You got to look at Niki Lauda. You got to look at the Mercedes dominance, Lewis Hamilton.
And Ferrari dominance.
And Ferrari dominance.
He was at Ferrari with Montezemolo, too.
Yeah, he was there. And as a businessman, as a person, he had, he had airlines. He founded 2 airlines. How difficult is that to do? And normally a racing driver, they are not the best in doing that, and he did it. And it's when he told me the stories about it, it's it's one of these things. He never stopped. So and as I said, I had a very good relationship with him, and I enjoyed every minute I spent with him.
And it's true that from what I read, he came from a wealthy family, but his parents were not supportive of him, or they didn't want him to do any of the shit he was doing. They wanted him to join the family.
Banking. They were in banking.
Didn't he take out loans to be a... Wasn't that part of his early story?
Yeah, he took out loans. He didn't tell his grandfather, which was the director of the bank. He took the loan out. It was for him,
there we go.
But he didn't tell anything, and he went racing with a Mini, So he started very, very simple. As he said, he was from a wealthy family, from a aristocratic background, but he never used that to his advantage. He always wanted to drive race cars and be his own man.
He had the ethos of a guy who came from nothing, even though he came from
exactly.
Where do you think Niki Lauda would put himself on this list?
Number 1.
Yeah.
He had a good confidence, Yeah.
And there was that and the most interesting story ever is when the story against Hunt, where he clawed his way back from he almost burned to death. He claws his way back, and then in Japan he just decides to hang it up. Did he ever talk to you about that?
Yeah, and I actually remember when I was a kid, I watched that race on TV. I got up in the middle of the night. I remember it like yesterday because I wanted to see Niki Lauda win. When I was a kid, and I watched it, and I was in tears when he drove into it. But he said it was just too dangerous. It was like I need to stand to my principles.
Wow.
It was too dangerous.
You were in tears. You were crying.
Yeah, I was a kid. It was which year was that? 74. I don't know if it was crying. I was very
76,
disappointed. 76. I was 11. So yeah.
11 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember.
We've asked you multiple times if you cry ever, and you kind of you say no, and now you're revealing your emotions to us on this podcast. Yeah. Was that kind of like how surreal was that when you then developed this friendship with him and you worked with him? How kind of your childhood idol? Some people say never meet your idols, but you did.
No, I was very happy to meet him. I was very happy because I got on very, very well with him. We had a good relationship, and he helped me a lot. Even when I was not in Formula One or when he was just doing TV, we spoke maybe once a month, maybe every 2 weeks. Just for 10 minutes, just because we got on very well.
What was the best piece of advice he gave you?
Work harder than anybody else. Matt, work harder than anybody else.
And I know that you're a ball buster. I would imagine that Niki is too. Niki was too. What was his? What would he get on you about?
if he had something in his head that needed to get sorted, he didn't stop. I mean, we had once at Jaguar, there was an issue with the ECU. And you can imagine, he doesn't understand anything about ECUs. But, man, he busted everybody's men's bowl, which even could say ECU, to try to fix this thing, So it's like, he didn't let go. I mean, that was his thing. If he put something in his head, I need to sort this. I mean, you better get it done because you will not get away without doing it.
OCD.
Yeah, but at a very high level.
Very, very, very high level of OCD.
Yeah.
He was major OCD.
Did he ever make fun of you for anything?
Oh, all the time.
Right.
I mean, when we were at Haas and we had a shit race, he was not shy to tell me, that you were doing shit,
Wow.
And he was instrumental, and he helped you make that Haas team happen. He was one of the guys pulling.
He helped. I mean, exactly.
So he said, I helped you get here, and this is what you're doing. You're making me look.
Exactly. Yeah. I hope you don't fuck it up. So all that good stuff.
Great. Yeah. Okay, so before we get to our number one, let's go over the list so far. We've got in the 10 slot Graham Hill, followed by Mario Andretti at number 9. In 8, the Professor Alain Prost. In 7, Lewis Hamilton. 7 championships just ain't quite doing it for you. In 6, Max Verstappen with some potential upside. 5, Schumacher. 4, Jackie Stewart. 3, Ayrton Senna. 2, Niki Lauda. And who is your number 1 F1 driver of all time?
Fangio.
Wow.
He was the first great one. Just like he deserves to be there. Without him, I don't think that F1 would be where it is. The guy is just, he did a lot for all of us, so to make it happen, to be the first pop idol almost, in racing.
The OV, the original Vanka.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think
OW, yeah. OV, yeah, OV is better.
Vanka, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people don't understand how good he was, and I think it's easy to dismiss how, because of the era, and also I think what he looked like. It's like he was old, he's kind of overweight. How good was that? How good was that era really? How competitive was that era really? And I think people would argue, if you stick Fangio in today's cars, like, he wouldn't even fit.
No.
And he would be bad. But here's my counter. I think if you stuck today's drivers in those cars, I don't think they would do very well because, A, those cars were big and tough to handle. You had to be very strong, and that's what I've read about him. He was very strong. Like, nobody handled a car like him. He really had control of that car because he was big and strong. And the other thing is, he was a mechanic for most of his life. And back then, those cars it was a lot about reliability. You had to be fast, but you had to be able to take care of the car. And I think he was instrumental in taking care of his own car. And I don't think Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen or Charles Leclerc, you drop them in tomorrow, they're not going to be able to even finish the race because they didn't spend 20 years as a mechanic. Yeah. It was just a different set of skills, and he won it Lewis, he wins most of his championships at one. He won at McLaren, and then he wins 6 at Mercedes during one era. He would win wherever he went. He's just like, I go to Maserati, I win here. I go to Mercedes, I win here. I go to Ferrari. He just went where he won. Was it 4 championships?
4 or 5.
5.
Yeah.
I think he won 5 championships.
He won 5.
He won 5 championships, but he did it at 4 different teams, which is kind of like, he was the X factor. It didn't kind of really matter what.
Yeah, he came, he did everything. He didn't need an engineer or nothing. He just, I mean, I think at the time he must have been the only one to set a car up as well, because he was a mechanic. He knew how mechanical a car works, and at that time, not everybody knew. I mean, we speak about the 50s,
Yeah.
So it's a long time ago, and that for me makes him something special. And he set basically a sport up where it was about a human in a car, where it became big the first time. I mean, I think there was some on the motorcycles, which was similar, because that was a little bit more developed at the time. But the car racing started, or the modern car racing started with this guy in F1, Juan Manuel Fangio, and that for me is number one.
Right. Not to mention how dangerous it was at the time as well. You put these guys back in those cars where that element, people, they might have not had the time spent in cars a la in competitive racing like these guys who start when they're 4 years old. But back then, that level of I'm really putting my life on the line here in a more kind of realistic.
Yeah, they had no protection at all. Yeah, exactly,
They didn't even wear fucking helmets. They were wearing
goggles.
And those cars were heavy as hell.
I want to ask you about one omission. I think there's just like one guy that was like, "Whoa, he's not on this list." Ask you about him.
Who did I forget? You
didn't forget anybody, or maybe you forgot. Maybe you're like, "Oh shit, he's actually number 3." But Jim Clark. How do you feel about Jim Clark?
That's what I was going to say, too.
I think he was very good, Jim Clark, but I have no relation to him. I cannot really, it's not something, obviously I know he won in rallying and in Formula One, Jim Clark, again, a Scotsman. But, for me, it was like, let's go with the people. I have emotions for it, And Jim, I know about Jim Clark, but it's one of these things, some people you get closer to and some not.
There's one other guy that is missing from this list that I want to point out. Yuki Tsunoda.
11 to make you happy. 11.
11.
I mean, it was just like between Graham Hill and Yuki. Jim
Clark.
Jim Clark. Yeah. Well, all right. We'll let you off on that one. It's your list, and hey. If you don't like it, you can fucking shut up. This is Guenther Steiner.
Everybody put your top 10 list. Put your top 10 list in the comments.
Put your top 10 list in the comments. Who did you have? Who did Guenther miss out on? Who would you put in there? Who's got Yuki in that list? I know I do. All right. That does it for us, Vankas. We'll see you in Austin. Get your tickets. Link in description.
At the Paramount.
The Paramount.
Goodbye, wankers.
Goodbye, Vankas.
Damn, I'm a boss. I'm a red flag heavy.